Hey guys, welcome back to 4-Wheel Build. And today is finally the day where we're going to be taking the 2021 Volkswagen T-Cross to the body shop. Now, but before I do that, what I want to do is get some of these parts like the hood, full front end, so you know, the radiator pack, get that on there. So I don't actually have to drag all those parts along separately in another car during another run. So let's get the hood, let's get that on, and then see what else we can install on it. And now let's see if we can get this front radiator pack secured somehow. And just like that, we've got the front radiator pack and the hood on. They're just put on without any adjustments. It's just to be able to get across to the body shop, which is about 500 meters, or maybe not even 500 meters that way. I'll get the car there and I can get working on it. And then in the meantime, whilst I drop the car off, I'll come back and deliver the remainder of the parts to them. Okay, so now let's put the hood down, get it secured with some bungee cord or some bungee leads, and then let's get the car across. Alright, so we've secured the front hood and the radiator pack, so the only thing that we really got to take across is the front fender and the bumper bar. Okay, so we've got everything packed up, so let's take the VW T-Cross to the body shop and get it back on the road. Okay, and it is a day later. I've dropped off the car to the panel shop. Finally, it's getting fixed. But in the meantime, there's still a couple of things I need to do. So let me show you what we have on for today. First of all, I might have shown you this already, I'm not quite sure. The frame has come in for the bumper bar. This is the frame that holds the halogen light. So this is for the left hand side. We needed this because the other one was broken. So we've got this now. When the car comes back from the panel shop, we'll be able to get the bumper off and get this installed, and then we'll obviously be able to mount our front halogen. We also got a couple of really important things for the front bumper as well. So these are the parking sensors. So we've got the center and the left hand side. So we'll get those installed once the bumper comes back. And another thing for the bumper, this is the front radar. So this is the little gizmo that checks the car in front of you when you've got the adaptive cruise control turned on, and controls the distance in between the cars so you don't get too close to it. So that's come in. That's an expensive little bugger, that's for sure. But that will take care of the front bumper. That will be it. There's no more to be purchased for the front bumper. Now, the other thing we've got that's come in is the front headlight. So I initially thought that the right hand side headlight was good, apart from the broken, I guess, mounting points. But what I did notice is this hole here. Essentially what we have to do is just transfer these two modules across to the new one, and then I'll be able to put this out on the market and actually get it sold off and get some money back for it. So the new headlight is in this box right here, so let me get that out. And there's the replacement headlight. This module needs to be replaced because this is actually programmed to the car. So if you actually put a headlight with a different one of these, the headlight will not work until you reprogram it. Okay, so let's unwrap this one and take a look at it. I haven't seen it as yet, but on the photos it did look good. And look at that, that is looking fantastic. Okay, so let's just shift this module across and that headlight will be ready. I've got to drop this off at the body shop so I can actually mount it up to the car and just make sure all the fitment is good. I've got a huge smile on my face because behind me, a T-Roc.
It's a T-Cross, dumbass.
Has come back from the body shop. So let me give you a quick look how it actually looks. So I'm really excited how the car actually has come out. All the body gaps are fantastic, nice even lines throughout on one side and the other side, plus along the edge between the fender and the front door. The lights have been installed and they're also looking fantastic. But as you might notice, as you can see by the drops on the workshop floor, there is a leak, and I am really angry at myself at this because I had the whole front cooling system with the rebar and everything sitting here. I should have put it on, put some water into the system and tested it. I didn't. I looked at the hoses, I didn't see any cracks or any gaps, and for some reason or another I just didn't think about, I'm silly, but what's done is done. And apart from the leaking coolant, another thing I've noticed is that we still don't have power steering. So this car has actually got electric power steering. I checked the fuses. The fuse seems to be good, so I'm not quite sure as to what else could be. Maybe it's got some crash data that needs to be reset first. Not quite sure, but the power steering is as yet not working. If anyone of you knows potentially what it could be, please leave a comment and let me know what I should be taking a look at. But for now, let's start stripping this interior down. And I think what we'll do is actually first, let's get started on these. All four of them have blown, so I assume there was 4 occupants in the car. So in order to get these done, basically you start up the top and remove the B-pillar trim, and you'll be able to also get the nut done right on the bottom of this seat belt, because that's the only way you're going to be able to get this seat belt out first. Then we'll follow it up with removing the steering wheel airbag, well, and then the actual dash to get to this passenger airbag, because this is the biggest pain in the butt. Along the lines, we'll need to remove all this trim, all the nav, sat nav, instrument cluster, center console. So there's quite a bit of work involved. And once we have it all removed, I'll take you to a company where basically they do all my dashboards. They repair and recover them, and they're as good as new. Okay, and we'll start off with taking off the passenger belt, and then we'll follow with the driver. And the belt's really tight here. So what we need to do is actually get to the bolt that holds this belt on the bottom there. Now the carpet here is really tight, so need to have a poke around and see how we can actually get that removed. Before you start any work on the dashboard, please ensure you disconnect the battery, just to make sure we don't let off any more airbags. Alright, the first of the seat belts is out. The toughest part is really getting to this bolt underneath here. I found that really sort of hard, so I had to take the front seat out. And it was just a matter of actually pulling this back. Once I was done, I was able to get all this stuff out, but quite easily without too much hassle. Now, apart from the seatbelt, the actual mechanism that controls the seatbelt that goes up and down is also broken. Goes up but doesn't go down. So I've taken it out and I need to find the part number and get this ordered as well. We'll see how it looks like on the other side, but for the passenger side it certainly needs to be purchased. Alright, so now we've got the other side to do, so let's get cracking on that. But before we do, I'll show you guys what I needed to do with this. So there's a couple of clips here that clip into this piece which goes underneath. So there it is there, this piece right here, so that clip into that, and then this also clips into the piece that goes right on the bottom there, which is that there. So you have to get these out and then pull these down. This bottom piece is held on by these four clips, and then the bottom one is you have all these clips all along here that hold this in place. We've done one, so let's now do the other side. This one should be a little bit easier, but now I'm a little bit smarter because I know where I need to pull that trim to get it out. I've got the second seatbelt removed, and now I mark all my parts left, right, so I know where they go. Plus all the bolts remain in the holes which they go into. Okay, and now we have to get onto the rear seat belts. So what I can see already is we'll need to remove that and potentially that. So the rear seat belts are both really tight. So I've gone in there and undid this bolt, and there's a plastic holder that's securing it in place as well. Not quite sure if you can see it. The next thing to do is take this out. So we actually have to first get this piece out, and then this piece. This actually, I can see this goes behind this. You can see the light piece, or the light grey piece, goes behind the black piece. So that means we've got to strip out a lot of this boot trim out to get to those seat belts. Alright guys, we've got all the seat belts removed from the front and the rear. That was quite a job. So as you can see, a lot of the car has needed to be taken apart. But now it's gotten a little bit dark outside, so I think we'll leave this for today. We'll come back tomorrow and get the dash done. Look at all the parts are generated just from removing this trim. So there's stuff there, there's already stuff lying on the 1 and 2 shelves, and there's still parts. There's a seat out here, and there's parts in in a rear boot. And it is a couple of days later, and we're back to remove this T-Cross dash, which has the which has the blown airbag. It hasn't got two blown airbags, the steering wheel has the other one, but that renders the dashboard, well, unusable and has to be replaced. Alright guys, so let's get started and get this dashboard out. Okay, so let's start off with the steering wheel airbag first. In order to get to the airbag, first we need to take off this cover, the shroud between the dashboard and the steering wheel, and then there should be some holes that will be able to shove a screwdriver in to pop the airbag out. Not sure if I'll be able to show you on the mirror, but there's a hole right there. You have to turn the steering wheel to the left and to the right. There'll be two slots where you need to put a screwdriver into, and there's a spring clip or spring that you need to lift up or open for the airbag to pop out. Okay, and I've undid those two clips that hold the airbag in place. Now it's just a matter of actually removing these two plugs here, and the whole thing should now pop out. That's one. There's the second one. And there's a whole airbag. So what you're trying to do when you get to those holes is there's these hooks here, and on these hooks you'll have these metal rods or clips, whatever you want to call them, and basically you just need to leverage them and pop them off. As you can see now, I've just pulled off the A-pillar trim on the passenger and on the driver's side, along with there's a piece that goes right there, and I've just pulled off this piece. There is some speakers in this A-pillar trim, so there's a connector that you need to disconnect as well. There's essentially just three clips, 1, 2, 3. So you need to give it a really good tug, and that should then pop out for you. And I'm thinking now what we'll do is actually get to the glove box and get this taken off. To pop off the glove box, what you need to do is just push these 1 and 2 tabs in. As you can see, they actually hold this in place. That will actually disengage this. And now we should be able to just take this whole glove box out. It'll just be holding it. There you go. Come out by itself. And just if you're planning, there's that cabin filter. So you actually need to, in order to get to the cabin filter, you need to take the glove box out. Taking this trim out is proving to be a bit of a pain, because it's seems fairly flimsy plastic. I don't want to obviously break it because it's in a really good condition. I do not want to go buying a new one, but at the same time there's a LED light strip at the bottom, so really hard to get tools out in there. But what I found it works is this really wide tool, and you just grab the edge, not too deep because then you're grabbing by the light. Just go via there, just grab the edge here and push it out, and it should start coming off. As you can see, there's a lot of these clips along the way, so just take your time and work your way through it all the way to the end there.
Want to hear the most annoying sound in the world?
Alright guys, as you can see, I've managed to take the trim off. It wasn't easy, it's actually quite hard, I must admit. There's a lot of these clips, they're pretty hard to get out, I must say. We've got that off, so now I think what we'll do is actually hit the instrument cluster. And the instrument cluster, I can see, there's only 2 T20s. that are holding it in place. So I think once we get those out, we should be able to get that pulled out and unhooked. Okay, I've popped out the light switch and I've done 5 screws. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 screws that now expose the dashboard, which is then screwed into the actual frame. So there's a screw there, there's a screw there, as you can see. So far it's looking like, not quite sure if I'll need to take off the steering wheel or not, but maybe I will, because I can see the opening for this is actually quite small, and the steering wheel I won't be able to get that through. So we'll take off the steering wheel just before we actually take off the actual dashboard. Actually, let's do the passenger side and just get rid of all the things underneath that glove box there. So I had to undo some screws for this whole glove box trim to come out. Then I need to actually put these, I guess, metal keys in to be able to get the sat-nav system out. But what I've noticed is that the cables on this are really short, and because they are zip tied here. So what I'll do is actually just cut the zip tie, and I just hope I remember to put it back together later on, because it's probably there because it was actually making a noise of some sort. Not quite sure. Okay, now it should now allow me to be able to remove this sat-nav system out. Okay, so I popped out all the sat-nav cabling out. What I'll do now is get onto the center console, maybe get the screen removed, these air vents, the climate controls, and then we'll also need to get this whole center console out. Alright, and we've got this passenger airbag out finally. It's just held with these 4 T27 screws, so we'll put this away. Alright, I've taken the side cover off in case anyone's interested. The SRS module is located here, so you've got to take this side panel off, which is one screw, and just got to tug it out, and that way you'll be able to get to the SRS module. Well, I'll have to get this out as well because that will need to be reset. Okay, so now let's go to the center, get that screen out and start working our way down, and then get that center console out as well. Now to get this center screen out, you need these keys. Pop one in on that side and pop one in on this side. And voila. This you just pop out like so. I think I might have to repeat that on the top of the screen as well. Alright guys, another little success. I've been struggling to try to sort out how to get rid of this panel here on this plastic. So first of all, gotta lift up this tray. So get a tool in there and go in from, I guess, inside this compartment, lift it up and get it out. And then to get this out, you have to wedge a very thin piece of, I guess, this trim removal tool in there and lift up this side. On this side you've got these 2 tabs. You will not be able to lift it up. Undo these 1 and 2 screws which hold this plastic trim in place, and then once that's removed I should be able to get this climate control removed as well. There's a couple of cables that are hooked up there. There's another one right there which I need to remove. Okay, we've got all these components from the center console out, and that was a bit of a pain in the butt as well, I must admit, especially around this area. This plastic is very delicate. I didn't want to scratch it up, and in the end, so I couldn't actually get this gator out. through the actual compartment there. But what you actually need to do is actually take the bezel around this leather part out, and then it will actually fit. We live and we learn, so that's a good tip for you guys. Make sure you do that. The reminder was quite straightforward to get it out. I guess if I knew about this, you'll probably make the process of the reminder a little bit easier to take out. Normally what happens is there's this part, this rear part needs to come off, and I've assumed there'll be some bolts that will actually hold this down underneath that. There's also some couple USB-C ports which for charging here, so I'm sure there'll be some sort of a connector. Okay, so let's get our trim removal tools. And guys, if you haven't got a set like these and you're doing trim removal of any sort, make sure you get yourself a set. They're very, very inexpensive, and they're a godsend. They're really, really helpful to get these plastics off without scratching them up. Alright guys, check this out. We've got pretty much everything removed that we needed to remove. Last thing to do now is just get the steering wheel off, because the steering wheel will not, well, the dashboard will not come off with the steering wheel in place. Plus there's still some bolts or screws that we need to undo. There's 1, 2, there's 2 there, there's another one there I can see, there's another one there I can see, so 6. There's 1 there, and there's 1 there that needs to be undone. There's also a couple on the end there, and on the side, and there's 1 on the side here as well. So don't forget to undo those if you ever are doing this job. Okay, so the steering wheel is a M12. So let's get that undone, and then we'll take the bottom cover off here, and then we'll start undoing all these last screws to get this dashboard out finally. We finally removed the whole dashboard. It was a bit of a struggle right at the end there, because I must admit, every time I done this before, I didn't have the windscreen in place, so I was able to just lift up the dashboard wherever I wanted, and be able to get around the indicator stalks. Here that's not possible because our windshield is actually good, so I needed to take off the clock spring and the indicator stalks as well. So as you can see, it's a bit of a mess. Looks, well, looks worse than what it really is, but that's what we needed to do. In the end, we had 15 screws still holding the dashboard in place, so make sure you get those, and that's including that thing that I dragged out from just underneath the dashboard. I didn't even see that was actually there. To tell you the truth, I don't even know what this is. If anyone knows, please leave me a comment. But yeah, we got that removed. So including these, there's 15 screws that you need to get out to be able to get out this dashboard. And there's 3 screws holding this clock spring, and 1 the indicator stalk. Guys, I'm glad that we got that dashboard out. That's a really good milestone. So now all I've got to do is just strip that hardware that we'll need to transfer onto our new dashboard, and then just go get that replaced. Okay, and here's the dashboard we got out. So there's still hardware that we need to take off. All these clips we need to remove from this. There's some, I think, the temp sensors in the vents. We need to remove those. So I'll go through now and get all that taken out. And then I'll be able to pack this dashboard up and go get it replaced. Alright, I have stripped out all the hardware from this dashboard, all the clips, whatever I needed. Plus I also got the whole vent system. Not 100% sure if I'll get that in there with the new dashboard, so it's better if I keep mine. Actually, just noticed one more thing I need to take off, and just this piece right here. Not quite sure if I'll get that in the new dashboard as well, so better hold on to that. Okay, so there's all the clips, all the screw holders. Wow, there's quite a bunch of parts here. There's a whole bunch of parts up there. There's a whole bunch of parts here. There's a whole bunch of parts here. And there's parts here. Wow, and the interior is looking like a royal mess. So hopefully I'll remember where all this goes, because this is one thing I'm sort of afraid about, is making sure that, well, you know, I put everything back in its place. Well, should be fun. Anyway, guys, we'll leave that for now. I'll go get that dashboard changed out, and then we'll start putting everything back. One last thing we have to get out is this SRS module, so the airbag module. We need to get that removed and get that sent away to get that reset. So whilst I'm here, let's get that done, and then push this yellow tab in and lift the lever. Okay, so that's the module unplugged, and now there's 3 bolts, 2 at the back and 1 at the front that hold it in place, the 10mm. You have to get those undone. I've undone the 2 back ones, and now with this plug removed, I'm going to have easier access to the front one. And here's the airbag sensor removed from the car. And on that note, we'll end today's episode. I hope you guys have really enjoyed it. If you did, please leave me a comment, leave me a like, consider subscribing. It's going to help me and the channel out enormously. And I'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace.